Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. They call him the BOAT. And right now, guys, we got a whole lot to talk about. But before we get started, man, welcome everybody inside the chat, all the comments, whatever you guys want to say, man. Put it out, put it in right, put it in print. We might get back with you, Brad. How you been feeling this week, man? How you been feeling, man? How you feel? You know what?
I feel like that's a leading question already.
Before you even say how you been feeling, man, I want to tell the people a story, man. I got this week, man. I was sitting at home and the phone rang, and it was Brad, and Brad's like, hey Book, and I was like, hey, what's going on, man? And what are you up to? And I'm like, nothing, you know what I mean? So I thought, come on, either he got COVID again, or his dog died, or something. It could not be good news. So I'm like, I'm waiting in anticipation of what's going on, and it was one of those things, if you ever talk to someone and they just won't get to the point, they just won't spit it out. They got small talk. Hey,
right.
Boy, hey man, what do you think about reality of wrestling this week? We got a show, don't we? We got a show this week, right? Kevin's gonna be running it. I'm like, what the hell is going on, bro? When you spit it out, So finally, I'm about to hang up on him because I'm like, I don't want to go through this, And then he goes, the Rockets, they traded James Harden. And then I go, that's what it is. This boy about to lose his grip. James Harden go. And I'm like, that's what it is. I knew it was something, but I just couldn't, I hadn't heard the news or anything like that. And Brad told me, but he definitely broke up inside. You know what I mean? I can feel, the boys' insides as far as, man, when you just want to throw up, that's the way Brad felt when he called me. You all right, man? Are you all right now? Are you good?
Look. I was good from the jump, Book. See, here's the thing, y'all don't know about Booker.
No,
you know he's a 5-time WCW champ. You know he's a 2-time Hall of Famer. You don't know that, and you know what? You do know that he's a phenomenal storyteller. You've seen it in the ring.
What are you talking about?
But those of us who've known him, he can embellish a little bit. None of that happened, Buck.
What?
Come on, man.
Well, you didn't do that. You didn't.
I'm a Joe Biden you right now. Come on, man.
You didn't call me talking about reality of wrestling.
I did. I said, we got a show tonight, right?
But you was talking like you was like trying to. You could have went. It's a straight line right here, and told me what was up. But you had to get all around and go all around, and I know how you feel, bro. Because the thing is, you hate it when I'm right about something. I know it. I know it.
I know. I don't hate when you're right about something. Now, you do happen to be, in the long term, you end up being right a lot of the times in those debates that we have. Sure. I don't hate it, but the thing is this. Look, and you know who we should get on this show who could explain this feeling? Not Pat.
Because we got
that vibe.
Yeah, because he's another one that, always wanting to, pump up, somebody like James Harden. Look, I haven't talked to Patrick Creighton in a while. Is he still around since that rumble he had on the app?
Yeah, no, he's good. He's still around. He's still around. However, the person we should get on this show is your brother, not Stevie. We should get your brother Don on this show, and the reason why is Don understands. When you go golfing with Booker, it's a different Booker T that you get. You know what I mean?
What are you talking about?
Because here's the thing. You're going to hit it nice and straight, right?
Sometimes.
You might be on the green in 2. You're going to get past that 150. He knows it. Guess what? When Don and I are sitting there watching him tee off, we know it. But he makes sure to turn around and say, "You see that, didn't you? Y'all saw that, right? You saw that." And then sometimes he'll pose in the tee box like he's Tiger. You know what I mean? Just hold it there. And then he'll look back at you just to make sure you peeped game and you saw what happened. Right? So this is what he likes to do whenever he proves to be correct. He wants to make sure that you understand and that everybody else knows.
No, that's not it, man. That's not it. But I've been saying this about James Harden for the longest, man. I've been talking about how this guy's he's not for the team. And he proved that at that press conference because he could have easily walked away quietly. He could have easily walked into the front office and say, look, man, I ain't feeling this. Get me up out of here. And that's a man-to-man thing. That's between you and I. But when you throw everybody else under the bus, it just goes to show what kind of character you have more than anything. And I've been saying this about this man for the longest. I remember when everybody was on the Tiger Woods bandwagon. All right. And, I'm glad Tiger Woods is doing well now. I'm out there with his son, a few weeks back, and I was like, man, this is awesome. Tiger, he's, maybe finally trying to find himself. But I remember I had a chance in Orlando, Florida. It's back when Charmel and I was with TNA. And Tiger Woods happened to be on the set doing something. I think he was shooting a commercial. And it was like, hey guys, anybody want to meet Tiger? And they asked me, did I want to meet Tiger? And I said, nah, I don't want to meet that dude, man. And people was like, man, you don't want to meet Tiger Woods? And I was like, nah, man. So that dude's a hypocrite, man. I said, what? I said, watch, the light's gonna come out on Tiger Woods one day. Everybody gonna see it. It was before the scandal. This was before 2009, okay? It was before he got in trouble. And I'd be damned if what I said came to fruition, because a person that like Tiger, something my mother always tell me, it doesn't cost you anything to be nice to people. Tiger went out of his way not to be nice to people. And that kind of stuff, it shows a flaw in your character.
I agree.
Because it's something very, very small. And me personally, the same thing. I look at a guy like James Harden. He's a guy that had a flaw in his character. That's why no one liked James Harden. That's why no one really wanted to be around James. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, when you don't hear a lot of people talking and saying good things about you, it's got to be something. It can't be everybody else. It's got to be you, and that's what James Harden was. He was a insect in the locker room, just bringing everybody else down.
Well, especially I will definitely agree with you, especially him coming into this season, right? I mean, he came in, showed up late to training camp. Then he had a COVID protocol because he wanted to go to the strip club. And then my man,
go to the strip club, I ain't gonna hate on him for that.
But here's the thing. Then my man showing up in the warm-up line looking like this. You know what I mean? That's a professional athlete right there. He's about 20 over.
You know what?
He's about 20 over. He looks so bad. He looks so bad right there, Book. This is what James Harden is about to look like when he goes to have picture day one with the Brooklyn Nets. He's gonna look like this right here. That's gonna be James Harden. By the time he gets to Brooklyn, a couple of hot dogs in him, some New York style pizza.
Put Buck in real blast like that, man. Buck will kill you for doing that right there. I'm gonna tell you so. Mark, I'm gonna tell you right now, I had nothing to do with that.
Mark is bigger than James Harden.
So when you see him, you can do whatever you want.
Mark Henry, one time when he came down to the show, he shook my hand, and I felt that handshake for like 3 weeks.
Oh, man. I mean, Mark is a monster, man. He got that big ball that, what did he call it? Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
And only a few guys have ever been able to pick that hammer up, and Mark Henry is one of them. And I tried it, and I'm a pretty strong guy, and literally I almost detached my wrist from my arm. I feel like it just almost came off because it was that heavy. So it is definitely let's not mess with Mark Henry, but James Harden, there again, guy with a flaw in his character, a guy that I said when CP3 was here, that wasn't going to work out. Westbrook came in. I said, look, guys, this is a marriage made in hell. It's not going to work out. And I said that. And then, boom, Westbrook bounced up out of here. And then James Harden. And people say, what should we do with it? I said, man, we got to get rid of this guy because we ain't winning no championships with, like I say, his stats. His numbers.
Stats are great.
And you know what? You was always, riding this coattail. So I ain't gonna
I'm a homer. I'm a homer at the end of the day.
I'm gonna hold you accountable. You know what I mean? for this right here. So don't even try to get off the
look. Don't try to sit here and impeach me for my James Harden.
What I'm doing.
I know that's what you're doing.
Hey guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Shoop. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. There again, man, we got a whole lot to talk about here today, but the breaking news that I really want to talk about is, man, UFC kicked off in what, 1990?
Yep.
And, now we're in 2021, and man, finally, USADA has made some big changes, and now marijuana is no longer on the ban list for the fighters.
Wow, that's huge.
I mean, it's huge. The guys do not have to worry about getting popped for marijuana anymore in the UFC starting January 1st, I think it was. So that right there, man, that right there is a huge step for the UFC as far as, you know, trying to look out for the fighter, because, you know, a lot of doctors put their stamp of approval on marijuana and what it can do for pain, maintenance, recovery. It's a lot of things. And the thing is, I still don't think it's enough money been put into marijuana as far as the studies as far as, you know, what it really could actually do for us, and from overall perspective. So I just want to say big ups to the UFC for making that change right there, because I think it's going to help a lot of fighters, you know, just try not to have to avoid something as simple as that, you know, when it's not helping them in any way, shape, form from a performance enhancing perspective. So there again, big ups to the UFC for, you know, and USADA for making that change.
Yeah, that's a massive change. Now I think that we finally might see Nick and Nate Diaz fight again, right? Right. I mean, remember Nate Diaz, and I'm saying it half jokingly because remember Nick Diaz, he got a few of his fights overturned.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
and he got banned.
Big fights.
Yeah, I think even the fight was it with Silva? They both
Silva, yeah.
They both ended up testing positive for something, I believe, and that's been a prohibitive for many fighters. Many fighters, some who ended up having to leave the organization altogether because, you know, that was such a big issue for them. And now it definitely opens the floodgates. And here's the thing. They're just following the trend too. We were just talking about James Harden. The NBA, although they're not saying you can do it, they're not testing for it. You know what I mean? They're not testing for it anymore. And, you know, it's not like they're advocating for it. And I think that's probably similar to the UFC. They're saying, hey, look, we're not testing for it, just so you know. And it's the way of the country. If it's legal in some of the states that they're fighting in, like what sense does that make? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
and you can speak to it as an athlete, just the benefits of cannabinoid oils from CBD and all kinds of bombs and all kinds of things that marijuana can actually, the marijuana plant, maybe not even the hallucinogenic standpoint, the THC, but that CBD oil, that helps with inflammation. And that's something that I know a lot of pro wrestlers go through. I'm assuming if you're doing 2-a-days in the gym, rolling around, throwing each other around, fighting, that's going to help you. So I think this is a great step.
No, I mean, if cancer patients, if it does something for them, at the least, it should be studied, you know, to the fullest. because that's something that we have been dealing with, and we've lost so many over the years. But no, I ain't finna get off into that or anything. But as far as USADA making that change for these guys, I put my stamp of approval on that, because there again, I know it's something that is something that the guys that do smoke marijuana, they know it's not going to help them from a performance enhancing perspective, and they still want to smoke it, and then they know they're going to get tested. Man, that's in the back of their mind. So now they're fighting against themselves, before the fight even happens, for something that they shouldn't even be struggling with, from the beginning. So it's a non-issue, I think, for a fighter, because I can almost say, smoke a joint and see if it's going to help you whoop somebody.
You definitely won't help with the weight cut, right?
We want to eat everything. No, man. I say that too. I'm looking at the story today. Fighter, former UFC fighter Spencer Fisher, Spencer the King Fisher. Story just came out on him just a couple of days ago. The cost of being the king, and right now, man, the brother, 44 years old, and man, a guy who has some, thrilling fights in the UFC. Spencer Fisher was a guy who, was, the UFC was built on guys like Spencer Fisher, and now he says, walking around, depression, dizzy spells, calling people by different names. He say his kids, he had trouble even remembering what his kids' names were, and that right there, man, is serious. Short-term memory, he say, is gone. As far as remember from yesterday, last week, he say, but years ago, long-term memory, he remembers stuff. But that right there, 44 years old, going through that grind, it's a monster. And I talked to you about this. We talked about this maybe a year or so ago. When they start doing studies on these UFC fighters, Spencer Fisher, 44 years old, UFC been around 21 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And the studies are going to start to come out on guys like that. I was reading another story, Diego Sanchez. He's been in so many fights, he don't even believe in CTE. It's not. That's a hoax. That's just something that people made up. And when you hear these fighters talk like that, even Tyron Woodley say, CTE is actually like a placebo. If you think it, it becomes true. So if you're losing your mind, it just, because of the punishment and the damage that it has taken over the years, the pounding that it has taken over the years, it's just in your mind over matter. Suck it up, kid. It's what.
Well, you know what? Tyron needs to take his own advice on that mind over matter, given his performances as of late. But who was it we talked to on the show? We talked to somebody who said that they thought that the MMA fighting wasn't as dangerous as other combat sports. Do you remember this? Who was it that we talked to?
Who was?
Because we got into a really good debate about it. Because to me, when you're using elbows and knees and fists,
and I think I totally correct him on that. I can't remember.
It was Goldberg.
Goldberg. That's exactly who it was. And I totally had to, correct him as far as the way we're going to look at these fighters, when the time comes, look at fighters like BJ Penn, Chris Lieben, guys that's been in those wars. There again, like I say, Diego Sanchez, a guy who's been in wars, and don't think, I always say, even in this business that I'm in, the wrestling business, no wrestler walks away unscathed. Okay. That's in the professional wrestling business. No professional wrestler walks away unscathed. We leave a little piece of ourselves in the ring in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I just got back from Reno, Nevada here a few hours ago. And I'm going to tell you, man, just walking through the airport, my left knee, I was like, man, hold on, baby. Wait up. You know what I mean? Get me one of them chairs. But no, I ain't do that. But now, we all leave a little piece of ourselves inside the ring. And I tell you, these guys, the Spencer Fishers of the world, you go and watch the story. Go and watch the story, and it will definitely tell you what these guys truly go through. And this is a guy that's, like I say, there again, got kids. What he's thinking about right now is being able to remember his daughter walking down the aisle. Not being here, but being able to remember it. That's a deep, man. That's deep. That's very, very deep. And guys need to understand and realize, the Floyd Mayweather of the world, smart dude, because unless you get hit, unless you get hit, is what that's the art. But the UFC have been, we're going to talk about the UFC actually getting ready to get back on network television coming up here this weekend. We talk about it all the time, man. How real it truly really is as far as that game go. It ain't no joke.
But go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, in all areas of combat sports, sure, including professional wrestling, you want to talk about not remembering something. I remember that story that I saw recently. The Miz was doing an interview, and he got a concussion in his match with John Cena at WrestleMania, main event of Mania, defending the title, goes over, doesn't remember any of it.
Yeah.
Doesn't even remember the main event. That's how real. So it's not a mind over matter, Tyron Woodley. I just wanted to throw that.
Oh man, I'm serious. When I read that coming from Woodley, I was like, wow, man, this guy really has a huge problem to be thinking on that level right there. As far as it's like a placebo, and I'm like, hold on, bro, this ain't the coronavirus, okay? This is real. This is getting punched in the head. And the thing is, they don't say it's not how often, it's how long. That's the fight game over a period of time. The compounding of that brain getting beat. That's another story, guys. We got to talk about UFC on ABC coming up. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is for all up-and-coming professional wrestlers, male and female. You want to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. You got a question, I got the answer. If you want to know how, join my masterclass. Go to realityofwrestling.com for all the information, starting on Thursday and every Thursday after that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. And I know you can dig that.
The Academy.
Shoop. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. There again, I think Daniel Cooper, he said he think boxing is more brutal for some reason. Maybe he's wrong. You're wrong. And the reason
I don't agree with that. Go ahead.
No, and the reason I say that is these fighters, these UFC fighters, man, they're going through these wars, and they're going through them on a typically regular basis. It's not something that they do on, like a yearly basis or anything like that. It's relatively often. And I look at a guy, just say, for instance, like Tony Ferguson, who was seemingly on top of the world just not too long ago, seemingly a guy that was sitting in the driver's seat, and everybody was, when the phone rang and Tony Ferguson's name was on the other end of the contract, the guy was like, man, no, I don't want that fight. And now I can almost guarantee you everybody's going to be willing to fight a guy like Tony Ferguson just because of what he's gone through. Not just his last fight, the fight before that, and not just the fight before that, the fights before that. It's finally compiled and got to a point now where Tony Ferguson is nowhere near the fighter he was just a couple of years ago, and that's how fast a fighter deteriorate in a sport where there's elbows, knees, heels and toes, head, shoulders, knees and toes.
The knee bone's connected to the hip bone, I
No,
think.
I was feeling that right there, man. You know, you were there so head,
knees and toes.
You know that song?
Oh, of course I remember that song.
The song, man. You know what I mean? What?
I guarantee you, this is an early prediction. This is me looking into the future. If Conor McGregor gets through Dustin Poirier, the next guy he's calling out is Tony Ferguson. 100%, right?
No. Let me tell you something. This is my prediction.
All right.
My prediction is we put Conor McGregor on that list after this fight.
On what list?
As far as being the fighter that everybody's going to want to fight because Dustin Poirier is going to beat the hell out of him. I'm serious, man.
I said if he gets past Poirier.
No, but that's my prediction right there. My prediction is if Dustin Poirier go out and starch Conor McGregor in a fist fight, stand up, because I don't see Dustin Poirier trying to take this fight to the ground or anything. I see him wanting to stand up with Conor McGregor and beat him and stop him, just like he said, I'm going to stop Conor McGregor. And I'm going to tell you, if that happens, we're going to put Conor McGregor right in that same boat with Tony Ferguson and a lot of the other guys that were great fighters, and overnight they became mere mortals.
Well, first of all, I don't think a loss to Dustin Poirier is the worst thing in the world.
It was, like I say, I didn't say a loss. I say he's going to starch him.
If he starches him, sure. I would tend to agree with we'd look at Conor in a different light. Let me ask you this then. What if the opposite happens? What if Conor starches, in your words, Dustin Poirier? What conversation is he in then?
You know what? And the thing is, that can happen.
Sure.
I'm not sitting here saying that can't happen or anything like that. And what is it going to do? It's just going to keep Conor in line for one more fight because
he would fight for the title after that, wouldn't you think?
Question is, do Conor want to fight for the title? Do Conor want to fight for money?
Well, with the check comes the championship, right, Booker T? I think you said that a long time ago.
Well, sometimes,
and right now we don't have it.
Sometimes, if you can avoid, just like getting a Mayweather fight, just like getting a fight, another one of those mega paydays. Those fights are so much more lucrative, and more important to one's lifestyle than actually any championship in the world. So that's the way I look at it. A fighter like Conor McGregor, just, nothing more than, just on his past tense and what what he's brought to the table.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. But at the same time, we also don't have, at least as it currently stands, I don't think Habib, has been stripped of the title by any means right now. I think it's still a little up in the air as far as where his future lies. But if the fight, let me ask you this. They come to Conor. He beats Dustin Poirier. They say, look, we want to put you in a title fight, and we've convinced Khabib to come back. He said this will be his final fight, win, lose, or draw. Do you want the fight? You're on the other phone. You're on the other line of the phone. You're Conor McGregor. Your response is what?
How much does this pay?
Okay. So that's all that matters to him.
Well, I think so. I think that's what Conor is saying, because I don't think Conor's going to run away from the fight or anything like that if the money is right. Because I really don't think Conor McGregor cares about losing.
He's already lost. He's already experienced.
No. What I'm saying is, in defeat, Conor has always shown that, hey man, you're a better man tonight. I've never seen Conor McGregor whine after a loss or anything like that. So I'm not saying that, he's a guy that's gonna, whine and moan and groan or anything like that. He's gonna say, how much is this? Can I make $10 million on this fight? And if they say, yeah, we can get you 10. He's going to say, okay, I'll take the fight, because in that fight right there, he wins. If he wins, he wins. If he loses, it's a win-win situation. And that's the way a gambler thinks, especially a good gambler like Maverick. You ever watch the show Maverick? Back in the day,
I've seen it.
A good gambler, man. They know exactly, what to gamble on, and if the stakes are high enough to actually, go all in. And I think that's the kind of fighter Conor McGregor is, more important than anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's definitely about the money. He would probably slightly hesitate because, again, where does your legacy go if you lose? I would say, where's your legacy go if you lose to the same guy twice? However, Mike Tyson lost to Evander Holyfield twice, and we don't really discuss him at any less than.
Well, I can tell you this. I don't think that's a fight that Conor McGregor is going to be calling them about.
Right.
You know, I don't think Conor McGregor is going to go looking for a fight with, Nurmagomedov. I just don't think that at all. I think Conor McGregor felt exactly the strength, the IQ of Nurmagomedov as far as fight gaming, fight planning. So much went into that fight, and I'm sure that's a fight that he's going to have to say, man, I got to think about, if I'm going to have this fight, more importantly, when am I going to have it? Because that's got to be close to the end. And I got to, it's almost like, robbing the bank, on the way out of Carson City, one of those type of deal. Yeah.
The other thing though, I was thinking about this fight, and I know we haven't gotten to the ABC card. I guess we'll do that here in a minute. But when I was thinking about the Conor fight, I was thinking about it this morning, and I see a lot of people online who are the more casual fans saying, oh, I've never really heard of a Dustin Poirier. I know Conor McGregor. Conor's going to win this fight. They're looking at it similar to the fact of Conor versus Cowboy Cerrone, right? And for anybody who's watching this and just as a peripheral MMA fan, or you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh, Conor McGregor, I know that name. Obviously, he's the better fighter. He's going to be good. Dustin Poirier and Don Cerrone, where they are currently in their careers, I wouldn't even mention them in the same breath as far as competition level. I put Dustin Poirier way far ahead of a Cowboy Cerrone. So for the Conor mega fans out there who are just the peripheral MMA fan, don't think this is an easy night for Mystic Mac. This is his biggest challenge since he fought Khabib Nurmagomedov by far.
I was just having that same conversation with Tyson Kidd a couple of weeks ago, and he was comparing, Dustin Poirier to Cowboy Cerrone as well. And I'm like, what are you thinking? I'm like, man, come on here, man. I'm like, Cowboy Cerrone was, he was good. The Edsel was a good car in his day. It was one of those type of deals. Right. And I had to sit there and I had to convince him, the guys that Cowboy Cerrone, not the guys that Cowboy Cerrone beat, the guys that Cowboy Cerrone lost to and how he lost. And all of those guys were B plus A fighters, and Don Cerrone lost to all of them. Don Cerrone has never been able to get over the hump and fight with those type of guys. And I'm gonna tell you, Dustin Poirier, he showed me that he can go out there and fight with the best of the best. His last two fights, they threw him in there, and to the wolves, and he went in there and he showed. Man,
was the last one Hooker? Was that the last fight?
Yeah, and who was before that? Holloway was before that?
I think it was Holloway before that, and he beat Holloway.
Exactly. And those two names right there, it lets me know how far this kid has advanced as far as his fight IQ goes. And I really, really think it's going to be a good fight. And I really feel like that Dustin Poirier is going to walk out on the other side, the guy that, beat there again, Conor McGregor.
He did have the
countryman from Ireland.
Countryman from Ireland.
Yeah.
He did have the fight in between Max Holloway and Dan Hooker, where he fought Khabib Nurmagomedov in Dubai or Abu Dhabi and took the L. So that was in between those two fights. But nevertheless, remember also in the Khabib fight that he had, he actually looked pretty good for a minute. Well, Khabib just grabbed him.
Well, he said something in the corner. He said, man, I just can't get this guy off of me. He didn't relent or anything like that. He just almost said, Scott's the better man tonight. And let's move on. Let's get this paper. Hey, guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Shoop. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Hey, man, UFC going down this weekend on ABC. And I'm looking forward to it. It kind of takes me back to my childhood. Wild World of Sports on ABC, 4:00 every Saturday. Man, I couldn't wait to actually see the intro of the Wild World of Sports. It was always, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, and it would always show the guy coming down the ski slope, and before he actually makes it, he would just crash and burn and just go flying all over the place. You know what I mean? He never got a chance to, get a score. I don't know if the guy died or not. But it showed that, no, I'm serious. That was the beginning of Wild World of Sports.
And you know what? And I wanted to actually ask you about Wild World of Sports at ABC real quick. And before I do, I want to give some love to Al Thek with the 499 euros. So that's a little bit more than $5, Booker T. That's euros from across the pond. Shook, Book and Brad. Are you guys familiar with Botchamania? Would love to know if parodies like this go down well with the locker rooms. All my love. We know about Botchamania. You know about Botchamania, right? Man, we had a reality of wrestling classic moment in Botchamania.
I mean, you got to check it out. Pull it up, man. The reality of wrestling Botchamania spot where we had a tables match. And it was the most iconic table match, I think, in the history of reality of wrestling.
Maybe in the history of wrestling.
Maybe in the history of wrestling, but we went and got that table from your local hardware store, Home Depot, wherever, Lowe's, I don't know where it was, but we didn't gimmick it or we didn't rig it or anything like that because it was just a table. We was like, man, these guys, these guys over 200 pounds,
they're 200 pounds, yeah, for sure, they're gonna break it.
I mean, it's not gonna be a problem. And man, they bounced off that table all nights. It seemed like I laughed. I'm doing commentary that night. I laughed so much. I've never laughed so much because man, I'm talking about it, the table was just maybe on the floor. They come off the top rope to the floor, off the table, and still bounce off of it. It was the craziest thing in the world. They finally broke that table, man. But it was definitely one of those moments we look back and laugh about.
And what's funny is too, for people who weren't there. So, they do the, what was supposed to be, maybe the end of the match, the big move off the top, boom, table doesn't break, but it felt like it should have broke, right? But it didn't. So I think one of the legs kind of bent. And so everybody looked around like, I think that was it, right? That's it, right? And then you get on the mic and you're like, no, everybody stop. This match will continue. Right, so you restart the match, and then they go back and they do the same spot again, and it still doesn't break. And then everybody's looking around again, like, "Wait a minute,
that's what all hell broke.
And then Booker gets on the microphone one more time, and you say, "This match will continue until the table is broken in half." And those poor guys probably went to the table 5 or 6 times trying to get it to break.
Oh my God, man. That spot right there, Botchamania. Every time I saw it, I couldn't do nothing but laugh like crazy. But heck yeah, man.
But what I wanted to ask you, for me, I'm obviously it's not my generation, the Wild World of Sports, but everybody who's talking about UFC being on ABC this weekend is referencing that. So could you put it in kind of a historical perspective? Why was Wild World of Sports such a treasured piece of content coming from ABC, in your opinion?
Well, TV was different, man. It was like the hub for sports. It was like your FS1 for sports. That's what ABC was back in the day, and that's why you say, man, you feel like it's kind of hard for people to think about watching sports on ABC. But we watch football on ABC back in the day. We watched boxing on ABC back in the day. We watch IndyCar racing. We watch NASCAR racing on ABC. We watched just about every form of sports other than professional wrestling on ABC. Back in the day, we saw Muhammad Ali fight on ABC. We saw
so
George
crazy
Foreman
to me.
fight on ABC back in the day. And that's why I say, for me, hearing that the UFC is going to be on ABC, the wide world of sports. It just has a ring. It has a good feeling to it. And it makes me want to tune in and watch it just for the nostalgia purposes alone. And I'm sure the people that's, around my age, when they hear about, sports being back on ABC, they're going to feel the exact same way if they were sports enthusiasts, as much as I was back in the day.
Yeah, I think first of all, it's crazy to me that you could watch a Muhammad Ali fight on network television back in the day. If Ali fought today, right? If he fought in 2021, the price for the pay-per-view would probably be $199.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
That's how big of a name he would be today. And to think you got to watch it and tens of millions of people got to watch it for free on network television. It just blows my mind.
That's
probably also why he was such a major star.
Well, I mean, that's why I say television was so big back then, just watching the iconic moment, of Joe Namath running off the field, throwing up the hand, that might have been on ABC. That's how big, ABC was back in the day for, young people like myself who love watching sports, and boxing was it, man. And if you wanted to watch some good boxing, you turned it on a Saturday, and you that's just about, if it was boxing season, you was going to see some good stuff. Unbelievable. Sugar Ray Leonard on ABC Wild Worlds. It was unbelievable.
Oh man, actually, I got to watch the other day on YouTube. I found the clips of the second Sugar Ray Roberto Duran fight. And, I had seen it before, like years ago. I think actually when we first started doing this show, I went to go watch it because that movie had come out about it. But when I was watching it this last weekend, Sugar Ray put it on him something vicious. Yeah. Like, it was almost like a yin and yang from the first fight, right? Completely different. And Sugar Ray really put it on that man. Oh, man. I got why he said no mas. It made sense to me.
It was a night and day fight, and Sugar Ray Leonard. I was listening to him talk just on the documentary just a couple of weeks ago. Hector Camacho's and he was talking about, man, he got caught up back in the day, man, just like all the other boxers, man. Training, not one to train, one to party. The ladies, the nightlife, even the drug life. He was talking about that. And when you're on top of the world, man, it's easy to lose focus there for a moment. There again, just talking about Tiger Woods a little while ago. Did you see that Tiger Woods documentary that just came out?
I haven't watched it yet. No.
Oh man, I was watching it last night on ESPN, and I was like, "Oh my God, man! I cannot wait to." Are you talking about, the Michael Jordan, documentary? This Tiger Woods, man.
It's up there.
It's deep, dog. It's deep, and I'm gonna tell you, they get ready to do part 2. And what's the? I can't remember the woman that got it busted. The one, the hot chick.
I remember in 2009 when they would put up the pictures of all the ladies, and the hot chick isn't. That's not exact enough of who you're discussing.
She wasn't hot, but I'm talking about she was.
A lot of them were. All of them were.
What this one here was like more freakish.
You talking about the waitress?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
right.
no, not the waitress, just the one I think that was in New York or something. She had a job where she was like.
Oh, is this the one where he left a voicemail on her phone?
Yeah, I think this was that one right there. And she rolls in right at the end of the first documentary of right at the end of the last scene is her walking in. The lights are set up for her. She sits down in the chair. She looks about 20 years older, of course. She's got these lips, man, that's like really so big that's just like staring at you. And she goes, "What do y'all want to talk about?" And they fade to black. And I go, "Oh, man, no, I can't wait to see part 2 now, just to see exactly how she's going to open, man." But she was raw dog, man. She just rolled in. And she don't want to talk about. I'm like, oh man. But it just showed the dynamic. The first part was the dynamic of Tiger Woods with his father. How that came to his father came to create, pretty much create the greatest golfer, in the history of golf. And his dad was a player too, man. And some of the stories they was talking about his dad, one of the guys that was, one of his dad's buddies, they used to, be out there teaching Tiger. And he, before he told this part of the story, he said, let me pause for a second. He had to regroup and compose himself for a second. He goes, Tiger's going to be mad about this. And then he told a story about how Tiger's old man used to be skipping it to the Winnebago while Tiger was out there playing golf. Oh, man, it's good, man. You got to check it out.
I will check that one out.
You got to check it out. It's a really, really good documentary. Like I say, I just happened to be flipping through the channels. It wasn't something I was looking for or anything like that. But once I started watching, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I didn't know it was, like the Michael Jordan thing. But once I saw the chick roll in and say what y'all want to talk, I was like, I got to see the rest of this, man. I got to see it. Hey, guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the hall. See, we got some more Euro, Bradley. So
yeah, and you know what? By the way, I was corrected, so I'm sorry. I guess I didn't know my foreign currency symbols, but it's actually the sign is British pounds. It's British pounds, Brad. LOL. Al says so. That's my bad, Al. My bad, everybody over there in London town.
It's the pound.
It's the pounds. He said, my granddad used to drink in pubs with giant haystacks, a 600-pound man who would drink 42 pints per night. What are your thoughts on the British wrestling scene and influence? Okay, that's an interesting one, Book. You spent some time across the pond. Talk to us about British wrestling.
I can tell you what I know about British wrestling, man. It's very little. But the guy that knows everything about it. I've been around him, and that's Lord William Regal. Man, I've seen him. He's told me so many stories. I just saw him post a picture of. Actually, I don't know if he posted, but with when he wrestled this famous wrestler over there named Big Daddy, and it was like Big Daddy was like Hulk Hogan over there at the time. He told me about, the circus, wrestling, and how those guys really believed in their performances and making their performances as real as they possibly could. And that's why William Regal was the type of wrestler that he was, because he came from like a carnival wrestling over there. Yeah. And he just told me the respect of the business was something totally different over there than you would actually see anywhere in the world, and to get a chance to do it over there would definitely be an experience of a lifetime. So, and to wrestle with William Regal, man, I hated wrestling Regal, man, because we would always go over spots and we would never do any of them really. You know what I mean? Finley, he was the same way. Every time we think about, we call a few spots. We would never get in the ring and do any of them. And I'll be so ticked off because those were my spots.
Those are spots you were trying to get in. You're trying to get your
stuff my stuff in here, man. I need you to cooperate. You know what I mean? So, nah, man, I've always had some good time working with those.
When I think of British wrestling, obviously you think of guys, I mean, it's his namesake, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. You think about Fit Finlay. You think about Wade Barrett, a recent name. Who am I forgetting? Pete Dunne, another current name, was really good. Oh, and of course, Paige and her family.
Yeah.
Paige and her family. Saraya Knight, her mother, obviously. And by the way, I know you still haven't seen it, and I know you're not going to see it, blah, 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 blah. But Fighting with My Family.
I'm not looking at it.
Look, I understand. I get it, whatever. I'm over it. But Fighting with My Family gave me a lot of respect for British wrestling and what the Knight family really does for the scene today, right? And they kind of got their own reality of wrestling over there that they run, and I think that that's really cool. There's been a lot of great Brits over the years.
I don't know, man. I just kicked one of them out of the school. I don't know if he was actually in the family. I don't know, but he say he was. So.
You know what? Here's one.
Back to England.
Send his ass on back. I don't Steve Austin's trainer. We just had Steve Austin on the show last week, and I believe he was a Brit. A gentleman, Chris Adams, right?
Yeah. Chris Adams, good wrestler back in the day.
Did you ever work Chris Adams?
I never did, man, but I always thought Chris Adams was a really, really good wrestler. Had really good, stage presence. You knew he was one of the guys running with the Von Erichs. He was always somewhere close, with the Von Erichs and that crew down there, and definitely made his mark in the business. Sadly, we lost him. I think suicide, maybe something like that. Crazy.
Oh man, yeah, terrible Chris Adams, and he definitely had a big influence there in the WCCW era, stuff like that. It actually threw me off the first time. I remember this documentary back in the day where they were talking about it was a documentary they did. It was like a one shot. Like I never saw it anywhere else, but they aired it, I think, on TV back in the day. And it was about Steve Austin, and they talked about gentleman Chris Adams, and then they had his daughters, Steve's daughters, in this documentary. And I guess it's his oldest daughters now, but they're British. Steve's daughters are British. They have British accents, the whole 9 yards. And when you think of the Texas rattlesnake, and then you see his daughter, and she's got a British accent, it really throws you for a loop, It throws you for a loop.
Well, Steve, he's like a tumbleweed. You know what I mean?
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Papa was a Rolling Stone. Rolls all over the place. You know what I mean? That's what I just Reno for just yesterday, and I was like, man, how'd you end up here, man? It's crazy. He ended up in Reno, Nevada, Texas boy. He was in California. I'm like, Austin. He's been like all over. It seemed like he just blow whichever way the wind blow it. I like that. I hope to be like that one day where I could just pick up and just leave.
Yeah, there's something nice about that.
Yeah,
there's something nice. Hey, I just reminded that Steve, that's in the same documentary, they were saying that's where he got the name Stone Cold, because his wife at the time was British. And, he was trying to think of the name for like the serial killer, like the Iceman or whatever. And he pitched it to creative back in the day, and they came up with these names for him, right? And none of them were great. They were like Ice Dagger, Fang McFrost, Ivan Von Ruthless. These were the names they were coming up for Steve Austin. And then his wife said, oh, don't worry. Just drink your tea before it gets stone cold, and you'll think of something. And then he was like, there it is, Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that's where he came up with the name. So pretty cool origin story.
Hey, man, that's
a lot better than Fang McFrost.
That's what that's called, man, is slipping on a banana peel, man. Sometimes it just comes without you even, trying. It's just, like me doing the spinneroonie. I never thought in a million years that would be my signature move that people remember me for the rest of my life. The spinneroonie, the spinneroonie. I'm like, the spinneroonie's never hurt anybody. I've never pinned anybody.
It wasn't a move. It was just
so it's just crazy that would be my signature move. So that's why I always talk to young people about as far as what wrestling really truly is. I say a lot of people. I said a couple of well wishes for Drew McIntyre as far as testing positive for Corona, man. Definitely, man, you can be on top of the world one day and then boom, something like that hits you, and you got to regroup, start rethinking things. I'm sure he's going to come through it. but still, it just a monkey wrench, man. It just throws a monkey wrench into everything that's going on. But
yeah. And I heard Jericho had it a month or two ago. He just revealed that as well. He said he had no symptoms. He just went to go get a test as a part of protocol, and they were like, "Hey, you tested positive for COVID, man. It's crazy, nuts."
Tell you, man, it's getting scarier and scarier every day as far as this COVID thing. But hopefully we can right the ship. Hopefully we can get 2021 off the ground and crack it, man, because, you know, we just got a couple of pounds can't come in. And I'm going to tell you, I can't wait to get overseas, dog.
I know.
Yeah. Can't wait to get back to England, bro. I mean, the food, we got to talk about that. That's another story. But I can't, wait to get back on the plane, man, and do some traveling, because right now I'm getting like cabin fever, sitting in the house doing a whole lot of nothing. But it's gonna get greater later. That's my hope anyway.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that 2021 isn't a sequel to last year. You know what I mean?
Oh man, don't even think like that, man. Don't even think like that.
Yeah. Well, the way I'll just say the first week wasn't encouraging.
It'll be a sequel for the Nets.
Do you think that they win the title?
Who?
The Brooklyn Nets.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. If Kyrie's on this planet still, I'm not sure.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. The game changes. I was just watching last night. The game changes. And that was my mess up right there. I was talking about what James Harden going?
The Brooklyn Nets.
They got a chance. They got a chance. Especially if James Harden there, man.
Well, here's the thing.
No, I say because if James Harden there, they got a chance because he gonna bring harmony to that team. James Harden. I'm gonna tell you, as soon as James Harden step on the court with those guys, everything's gonna gel. Everybody gonna feel good about themselves. Trust me on that right there.
Well, he's not the leader of this team. Kevin Durant's definitely.
Wait a minute. Maybe not. I'm just saying. Harmony goes a long way, and that's what James.
Well, it's like what Boogie Cousins said. The newest Rocket, who we signed All-Star, 4-time All-Star, Boogie Cousins. He said, "Look, there are 14 guys who weren't buying in. I mean, there are 14 guys who were buying in. There was one who wasn't." He said the disrespect didn't start last night with that interview. It started from day one. He goes, "I came to Houston to play with John Wall." I was like, let him know, Boogie. Let him know. Give me my Boogie jersey right now.
See, man, and you and Patrick Creighton.
What?
You guys need to just go camping together.
First of all, I would never want to camp with Patrick Creighton.
I'm serious. You guys should just go camping together.
Why?
Get your James Harden mugs, get some hot chocolate, and just reminisce old times. You know what I mean? I'm serious, because you guys are the reason why James Harden stuck around so long, supporting James Harden.
I think those $42 million a year was the reason he was sticking around for so long, Booker T.
I'm just saying, we still got to talk about UFC on ABC, man. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about that. So stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Let's talk about it, man. UFC on ABC. We almost got started with it, but like I said, I'm really happy to see Combat back on ABC. It's not a whole lot of fights on there that interest me though. There again, it's
co-main in Maine. To me, it's like a 2-fight show.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those UFC cards where it's a lot of thrown together fights, and I don't want to disrespect anybody, any of these fighters or anything like that, because those guys go out, they fight hard, man. They fight hard for the money that they're going to be making. But there again, who's the stars in the UFC when you got to put a guy like Carlos Condit in the co-main event? A guy like Carlos Condit, 36 years old, taking on Matt Brown, who just had a birthday, 40 years old, just turned 40 years old. Carlos Condit fought just last year in 2020, October, went unanimous decision over Court McGee. But before that, he was on a 5-fight losing streak. And I don't know how a guy, lose 5 fights and stick around in the UFC. Michael Chiesa, Cowboy Oliveira, Neil Magny, Damian Maia, Robbie Lawler, 5 fights in a row. He lost before the unanimous decision over Court McGee. And now he finds himself in the main event over the whole slew of other fighters on that card. Just go to show you where the star power is, where you got to put a 40-year-old in Matt Brown against a 36-year-old who's won 1 fight in his last 6 in the co-main event. What do you think about this, man? How has Carlos Condit lasted so long coming from the WEC in the UFC, man? Because he's been there. He's been a guy that they always been able to get on the phone and say, hey, Carlos, And the thing is, this is what you think when you hear about Carlos Condit. Man, the natural born killer is back. You don't think about the loss, the losses he got on his record.
Yeah, you see his name.
You think about Carlos Condit. You think about the natural born killer. How far has that gimmick has taken Carlos Condit?
What I was actually about to say, it's funny you called it a gimmick, because when you say Carlos Condit, the natural born killer, it's a championship name. Carlos Condit? Carlos Condit is a championship name if I've ever heard one in my life, right?
Yeah.
And he does have great marketing, great branding, Carlos, great branding. But Carlos is what, 31-13 is his record against a 24-17 Matt Brown.
Yeah.
Is journeyman like the right word? I don't know if that's the right word to describe these two guys. I feel like
that would be the term.
You think so? I mean, I feel like Carlos has had more of a little bit bigger than a journeyman's career.
These are the guys that they fought hard, man. They fought hard for the sport, but they're guys that never won the championship. Never put themselves in a position to carry the banner. Carlos Condit might have slipped on a banana peel and won it once. I'm not sure. I know in WEC he did. I don't know. I don't think he ever won. I don't think he did UFC. And I'm gonna tell you, man, it's a hard road to hoe. But there again, Matt Brown. What is his title? The Immortal Matt Brown. You know what I mean? That's money right there. Matt Brown has been in some of those fights, man, to where it's just been straight up war. Blood and guts warrior type fights. And fighters like Matt Brown, there again, he's always going to get the call to come back to, put on a, what we love to see, a performance inside the octagon.
And Carlos Condit, just for the record, he was the UFC interim welterweight champion.
That's what it was.
Yeah, he beat Nick Diaz for that championship back in 2012.
It's been a minute.
9 years ago.
It's been a minute, and Carlos Condit has faced
lost to
a lot of, he's it's fitting for ABC Wild World of Sports. He's tasted the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat many times. Both of these guys, but I think this is going to be a good fight. Somebody's going to get knocked out. Somebody's going to get stopped. Matt Brown always, in those fights where it's a lot of blood, so it's going to be entertaining. There again, Carlos Condit, I don't know if he's got a whole lot left in the tank. If I had to put my money on either one of these guys, it would be Matt Brown, just because Matt Brown has been the more active fighter over the years. He's been the guy that's been out there still, like I say, time off is your worst enemy. And Carlos Condit, even though he fought to a unanimous decision last year, I still
in October.
I think Matt Brown's a better fighter.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with you, especially when you look at the frequency of the fighting from Carlos Condit. If you go back, you mentioned his 5 losses in a row before his most recent victory in October. We're talking he fought twice in 2016, he fought once in 2017, and he fought twice in 2018. So all of 2019 he was off. Essentially, the majority of 2020 he was off, just came back in October of last year. So you're talking about he's 3 months now
and all of those fights that you were just talking about right there, he lost those fights.
Every single one of them.
Yeah,
for October. Yeah.
It was almost like it's time for me to go get a check. Get my agent to get on the phone and call somebody and see if I can get a fight with anybody. I don't care who it is. Just get me in there. You know what I mean? It's one of those type of deals, man. And it's sad. How much money has Condit made?
I'm about to look up his career earnings.
I mean, I'm sure Carlos Condit's probably made $2 million, perhaps.
I would hope it'd be more than that.
No, I'm serious. It's probably going to be around $2 million for his entire UFC career.
God, man, here he goes again. $2.4 million career earnings.
Damn, man. How do I know these things?
Oh no.
2.47.
So 2.5.
How do I know these things? It's crazy. It's like I got a crystal ball in front of me sometimes. It's like I'm serious. Every time, man, it seems like I just call it right. Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, guys. If you guys need some palm reading, I'm going to start up a new school. I'll give you guys the information. Go to realitywrestling.com.
We'll just go ahead, everybody. We'll just go ahead and take Booker out of the stream for a second. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. We'll just let him have his little corner there.
I'm serious, man. I'm serious. It's crazy. Carlos Condit, he's been one of those guys who's been a fighter, man. And there again, going back to that Spencer Fisher clip, guys need to watch that. I actually watched Matt Brown do some of the pre-fight press, and he actually talked about the Spencer Fisher
really?
that he's going through right now. He said that Spencer's a good friend of his, and he hates to see him going through something like that. And he says it's something that's really serious, and it's something that's on his mind. Seeing a buddy like his go through something like that, and it's got to be something on your mind. I mean, I had some headaches last week, and I immediately ran to the doctor to get a CAT scan. Hey, Lonnie.
Make sure you're all good.
I'm waiting on the results right now, man. I'm like, man, I got a headache. It could be anything, but
the doctor's in there. Booker, what are your symptoms? You have a headache.
Wow, you did.
Anything else? Did you look in the mirror this morning and not remember who you were?
No.
No? Do you know who the current president is? Yeah? Do you know what the date is? Okay. Remember these 3 words.
I'm serious, man. You got to be careful, man. You got to get checked out. But Matt Brown, I see Matt Brown taking that fight. Carlos Condit, it's got to be close to the end for both of these guys. Matt Brown, there again, I was listening to him talking. He said, before every fight, he's thinking about retirement.
Well, then this might be his last fight.
He said,
and what a way to go out. If he wins on ABC television?
Go on how big the check is, man. You cannot quit, doing what you do unless the money is right and you got plan B. What's your plan B? I think he sold some coffee. He's got a coffee business, an online coffee business, immortalscoffee.com or something like that.
Free plug.
Yeah, seriously. As well as I think he's got a school, a dojo. And normally that's what a lot of these guys do, go to training. Because there again, it's something that they know. But there again, man, the clock is ticking. 40 years old. Matt Brown, the clock is ticking. 36 years old. Carlos Condit, ABC, man.
Wow, Carlos Condit's only 36.
Carlos Condit's only 36 years old.
God, dang.
And
you think he'd be 46?
Fight game is rough, man. It's unforgiving. It's unforgiving. I was just looking at a picture of Matt Brown of, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago compared to now. Man, the fight game is rough. I almost looked like the chick that was on the Tiger Woods story. I mean, seriously, man, because she had so many cracks in her face, man. You thought it was a road map. I'm serious, man. You know what I mean? I was like, man, hold on. I'm just playing, man.
So many cracks in her face, you would thought it was a road map.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Hey, guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is for all up-and-coming professional wrestlers, male and female. You want to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. You got a question, I got the answer. If you want to know how, join my masterclass. Go to realityofwrestling.com for all the information. Starting on Thursday and every Thursday after that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. And I know you can dig that.
The Academy.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. I had to wipe my tears on that one, man. That was a pretty good one, man.
You're not still laughing at your own joke, are you?
Get your zingers in, man. Gotta get your zingers. You're singing the spot. This is the political season, man. You gotta get your zingers in, man. What do you think about swearing in Joe Biden, man? What do you think about that, man? They're gonna be swearing.
Yeah, it goes in next Wednesday. Yeah. I think with every new inaugural of a new administration, just like with every year, you hope for better than where we are now. You hope for a progress. You hope for improvement. And I will say that his immediate predecessor, not the current incumbent, but the man he served under, Barack Obama, President 44, President Obama, had that hope and change message, right? And I hope that that Joe and Vice President-elect Harris, they go in there and they want to unify what has been a very divided country, at least the most divided that I can remember in my lifetime. My 28 years on the planet, I never remember it feeling like this. And hopefully also after the tragic events that happened at the Capitol, everybody looks at their neighbor. Like, I hate to even compare it to this, but you remember when 9/11 went down, back in 2001, everybody for like a 2-month period. And I remember, I was young, but I remember it. For like a 2-3 month period, everybody was cool with each other. Right?
Right now, that ain't gonna happen.
Well, but this is what I'm hoping for. This is the eternal optimist in me. And I'm saying after what happened at the Capitol, hopefully people unite together. You know what I mean?
And you know what, man? I think a lot of people are going to wake up. I think at the Capitol, I think a lot of people really did get caught up because they didn't have no mask on or nothing, trying to hide them. If you're gonna break in a bank, you better. I'm serious, man. You gonna wear a mask, gonna wear gloves. You're gonna try to figure out a way how not to get caught. You know what I mean? Because you know, and you can get in a lot of trouble. And you remember I talk about all the time, man, how they're getting peer pressure.
It's dangerous.
You get caught in the whirlwind, and once you get caught in that whirlwind, it's so hard to get out. You can't get out until it stops. Sometimes when it stops, you end up in the for me, it was the Texas Department of Corrections. I'm serious because I was going along with it, man. And I'm gonna tell you, ain't no way. I don't care. You can't tell me people that's I don't want to call them stupid or anything like that. You can't tell me people are that stupid that they're going to go do something like that, not cover their face and then thinking that somebody's not going to come looking for them if something go down. And that's why I say you can easily get caught up and it can change your life. It can change your life for the rest of your life. For me, you know, for the longest, man, going overseas was a problem because I had a criminal record. Now, all of these people are going to have a criminal record. What do you got to? What did you get in trouble for? Insurrection. We can't let you in our country.
Ever.
This is gonna listen. This is gonna affect so many people's lives, and they didn't even realize it until afterwards. I didn't even realize you could get 5 to 99 years in prison until I was in court, and they told me, you know, what does this court? Excuse me, what does this carry? This carry from 5 to 99, Judge. And I'm sitting over here wondering, what the hell am I? Why wasn't I looking at the news? You know what I mean?
Right.
Why did I open a newspaper? Why did I do some research on this crime that I'm involved with? Because I got caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
It wasn't something I thought I should research on. And I think that's where a lot of these people are right now, getting in trouble, you know, a knock at their door, you know, and they get and having that record on their back. That's something that you do not want on your back. Is having that record, that X mark, to where it can affect you in your day-to-day lives, in your jobs. And there again, man, I think a lot of these people just did not realize what they were getting into until they got into it. Now, some of them, you know, and I'm not finna sit here and call them bad apples. To hell with that. They do exactly what they were doing. Some of them, but some of them, they got swept up in the moment, man, and they realized now it was the wrong thing to do. That's why I say, hopefully, people think before doing something like that, because that's what you got to be a leader in a situation like that. You got to be able to think about if this is going to affect me and my family, perhaps for the rest of our lives.
And to echo something, you know, this is actually, believe it or not, this is the third inauguration that I've been around you for. January 20th, 2013, Obama was inaugurated for the second time. In 16, Trump was inaugurated, and then now, or in 17, he was inaugurated. Now 21, Biden's going to be inaugurated. And you've actually said and been very consistent over that 8-year period. You said, look, this is the president, this is the captain of the team. We just hope for their success, because their success is our success. You've said that every single time,
Amen.
right? And so this isn't like a political thing, really, at all. I don't think anything that we're saying. It's just, it's almost like, to put it in sports terms, it's like getting a new coach, right? When you get the new coach, you're not rooting for that coach to fail your team.
Can't.
Like whoever they get for the Texans, I don't want the guy to fail. I want the guy or girl to be able to be successful and get us to the Super Bowl, right? That's what we're looking for.
Like James Harden.
Well, that's a different sport.
I wanted James Harden to win, man. I wanted him to.
You cursed him. I don't even want to hear about it.
Oh,
You cursed him that day
man.
where you said, we're going to the finals. We're going to the finals. Well, we were up on Golden State, and I've never forgiven you for it.
Look, man, the thing is, I knew we wasn't going to the finals. I was just messing with you. Okay, I knew we was gonna lose. That's just the way the team is. We got a little time left, man. We're gonna get on this main event UFC on ABC going down this weekend, guys. Saturday. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. Holloway versus Cater.
Calvin Cater.
Calvin Cater. Cater. He got some. He's got a pedigree. Knocking out Jeremy Stevens. Coming off of a win as well. Holloway, of course, looking to find himself, I guess, all over again. I think this is one of those fork in the road moments for Max Holloway, because
To an extent, for sure.
I'm gonna tell you, man, when you lose the way he lost, in a tough war against Volkanovski, you go, man, how long can I do this? And I'm gonna tell you, man, he was beaten up pretty good as well. But
I still think that he won that fight, personally speaking. But at the end of the day, we have to come to the realization of this. Max Holloway, as much as I love him, 29 years of age, has lost 3 of his last 4 fights.
And that's the thing right there, man. That's what I'm talking about. Once you go on a slide like that, and the thing is, you're fighting the best fighters. It's not like you're fighting, Johnny come latelys or anything like that. You're fighting the best fighters in the division, and there again, Cater is not going to be a guy that he's going to be able to go out there and walk over. This is a guy, like I said, if you knock out Jeremy Stevens, he was a grizzled veteran, a tough guy, a guy that can beat you on any given night, still today, if the circumstances are right. Holloway got to go out there and he's got to be totally right. And it takes me back, man, and I hate to keep harping on it. I hate to keep harping on it, but it takes me back to, someone like Tony Ferguson, a guy who was on top of the world, just 2 years ago. No one wanted to fight the guy. Max Holloway, just a couple of years ago, this guy seemed like he would go through anyone they put in front of him. It was the blessed era. Everybody was getting blessed.
Everybody.
And it seemed like everybody that stepped in front of him was going to get baptized. It was just going to be one of those type of deals. And now we look at him, what'd you say, lost 3 out of his last 4?
Yeah, the 2 to Volkanovski. He beat Frankie Edgar, and then he lost to Dustin Poirier.
And the thing is, he was supposed to beat Frankie Edgar. You know what I mean? That was a fight to actually, a confidence builder. That was a fight, let me throw you a bone. It's, make sure your timing is there and whatnot. Frankie Edgar is a guy that's been in the zone. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a guy that's a legend to the sport. But is he a guy that, you're supposed to beat? Yes. You know what I mean? So, like I said, that was a get over fight. Right now he's at a proving ground again. It's going to be good. I'm gonna check it out. Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar, live UFC on ABC. Pugilism, sports is back on ABC, and that for me that's the most exciting part. So I'm gonna sit back in front of the big screen TV, get my popcorn and a cold beverage, and check out some fight. But who's gonna win? That's the question.
I'm gonna go Holloway on this one. I think Holloway's gonna beat Calvin Kattar on this one.
You know what? He should beat him. So I'm going to go with him as well. I'm not going to, try to, use any kind of zen or anything like that and say, nah, what's going to happen here is Calvin Kattar is going to find Max Holloway somewhere in a position, somewhere late in the 5th round. And the referee is going to have the wherewithal, understanding, and know how to just jump in and stop it. See, I'm not going to say that this time. I'm going to go with Max Holloway to win this fight, probably, somewhere early. That's my pick.
All right. Well, there we go, Booker T. I see what you did there.
I just had to throw all that other stuff in there, man, just to make the people. Because, with me, man, ever since I won the WCW championship back in the day, man.
What's it been all about?
Always been about the people. Hey, man, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for sticking it out with me here inside the Hall of Fame. All the listeners, man, appreciate you guys all the time. As well, man. Well, we only got one time we on this week, man. We got preempted by football. But next week, same place, same time, back inside the Hall of Fame. But right now, we up out of here.